Every time I'm going to get in the shower, I hear somebody just be like, you're just like shooting mucus everywhere. I'm going to start bringing sandals.
Butterscotch
Shenanigans. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 12 squared of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast of Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'm Seth, and I'm the games programmer.
I'm Adam, and I'm the launcher of servers.
I'm Sam, and I'm the Easter Bunny.
And this is a show where we talk about life, business, and working in the games industry. Today is April 2018. Before we get started, we have a warning. Anything could happen on this show. We're going to talk about stuff that children should just not be privy to.
They're not ready yet.
They're just not prepared.
They need to bake a little longer first.
Yes. Bake in their childlike innocence, I guess. Not literally in an oven. All right, let's talk about the news.
Okay.
Studio news. This past week, we are on a boat.
Yes.
We're going down Refactoria River.
We've talked about Refactoria, I think.
It's a place. It's a place where you go to make things better. Refactoring is the programming term for basic. It's sort of like when you write a paper and you're like, I got to revise this shit because it is terrible. No, it doesn't make sense. It's incomprehensible. My paragraphs are backwards. You know, all that normal stuff that happens when you write.
I have a typo in this one spot, and that somehow destroys the entire paper.
Right. So that's the kind of stuff that you got to do in Refactoria.
We were talking about how it's kind of a place between heaven and hell. We can't figure out what the word is for
I think it's called Earth.
Yeah. Maybe it's that. Because you're going to get real good stuff out of it, but it's just kind of sucks.
Yeah. So we went to Jadisi, a couple weeks ago. And last week was a good reflection week, I think. We spent a lot of time just kind of digesting, and we're also working on coming up with some new studio principles. Which
are we talking about them?
We're not going to talk about them yet, but I want to. I'm teasing for the next week. It's kind of a cliffhanger.
Gotcha.
Sort of.
I think cliffhangers go at the end, though.
Yeah, I did a bunch of reading about how to do podcast good.
Right.
And they said
put your cliffhangers in the beginning.
Put your cliffhanger at the beginning.
Right.
Keep them guessing. Is it going to come toward the end of the episode? No, it's coming next week. But they don't know that.
But now they do know that.
They don't know.
Oh,
that's the secret. Okay. So,
bulletproof.
Yeah. So some of the things that happened at GDC, which we will be talking about in future episodes, more cliffhangers, just throwing those out there, have caused us to have to rethink some of our programming approaches to our current project, Levelhead. So we got to rework a bunch of things, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. So refactoring is it's going back and doing some editing, maybe cleaning up stuff, just doing it better. And it's very fun. I feel like afterward, there's like a smug satisfaction that comes on.
I mean, it's the same as editing something you wrote.
It's like when you clean all the shit out of your closets.
Yeah.
And you throw it in a big pile, and then you just burn it.
And then
While
you're
doing
it in there. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just better now. There's less of it. It's all better. You get those to get those mothballs out of there. Throw away the clothes that have had moths eat them, because I guess that's the thing that moths do.
How did moths even
I've
get in there?
never seen this
I haven't
happen.
either.
I feel are mothballs a scam?
They
I
might
feel
be
like
a
this
scam.
might be a scam.
Why would moths eat expensive clothes?
I don't know. How are they even getting in there?
I don't know. I don't know.
None of this makes any sense.
All right. Let's talk about Battle Royale.
Okay, it's everywhere.
It's in Crashlands now.
Yeah,
We got a patch coming.
Yep.
Not only do we have multiplayer, we actually removed the core game. We're pulling a Fortnite.
Yep.
We're just it's Battle Royale all the time.
Yep.
24/7.
But the way we're going to do it is actually the circle expands from the center out.
Yeah.
So it's
And
just
everybody's
constantly getting bigger.
And whoever gets the fewest kills actually wins. So your best bet is just to stand around.
It's sort of like an anti-battle royale.
Yeah, everybody starts dead, and then you have to try to revive each other, right? And so you're trying to run away from people who are trying to revive you. Problem is, you're dead and they're dead. So they
problem
can't
is nobody can
you,
revive anybody,
and you can't run. It's a very complicated game.
Pretty sure it's going to make about $120 million.
It's gonna be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as Fortnite and PUBG have shown, if you just put Battle Royale in it, you can just make infinite money.
Speaking of, so I was given this pro tip, a little hot tip actually from one of our longtime listeners, Randy, who sent a note and said, hey, look at this ice fishing Battle Royale game. Not even kidding. So there's an ice fishing game on Steam. I think it's called Ice Fishing Simulator or something like that. And you go out and it's, they do like accurate topology for under the lakes and stuff. It's really cool. It looks like actually a really cool fishing sim. And then they put on a Battle Royale mode. So now you play it multiplayer where
do you drop in from a
I don't know if you drop in. I don't know if they did that.
I mean, you drop your lure in.
That's it.
To a hole, you know.
Isn't fishing kind of a battle royale?
It is.
Anyway, so they're constantly shrinking the circle, and you have to catch as many fish as possible, in that until the timer runs out by keeping it.
Can you catch other players with your fishing pole?
I don't think you can, but there are bears. I've seen bears.
There's bears.
So I'm not sure. Haven't tried it, but it was very amusing that someone managed to sort of, take that concept and just blanket apply it.
You know what would be dope
game.
as hell if it was a battle royale game where one person is the fisherman and 99 people are bears, and you have to catch as many fish
as you can. Ooh, here's another game that isn't actually battle royale. But as I was thinking about it, what if you were a game where it was multiplayer? Right? And some people play sort of like Left 4 Dead. So there's special infected, which in this case are the fishermen. And then there's
fish.
Then there's like the survivors, which are the fish. And so if you're playing as a fish, you have to actually see the way a fish does, right? So it's in VR, right? And you can only see to either side. You can't see in front of you. And it's blurry as fuck because you're a fish and you got really shitty vision.
Do they have bad vision?
I mean, presumably because they're fish,
whatever.
Yeah.
They got those little tiny weird fucking eyeballs.
They don't even have eyelids.
They don't even have eyelids. Yeah. It's like, how well
see?
could you see?
How can you see? Can't even blink. Their eyes are probably got like itchy shit on them all the time.
They're kind of in a saline solution at all times.
They are, but there's leeches in that saline solution.
Except for
stuck to those
ocean
eyeballs.
fish, which are in a salty, burning solution at all times.
That's true. It's not good on your eyeballs.
It's not good.
But yeah, so now this is the setup, right?
Okay.
And then as a fisherman, you're trying to get the right bait and hit the right depth and stuff to try to catch these fish. And as a fish, you can't tell for sure if anything you're looking at is some tasty morsel versus an actual hooked lure device. And so you are playing a survival game where you have to eat to stay alive. But anything you eat might be a fisherman's lure.
I like it. Asynchronous multiplayer is super hot right now.
Yeah.
To get on there.
Yeah, it is. And this is a VR game.
The VR, yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. So this is a good way to get over the kinds of motion sickness problems that people have is point their eyes in two completely different directions.
All problem solved.
and make everything blurry and put them in an incomprehensible environment.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really gonna take care of that.
Yeah,
that
but if we do
motion
it, then we can
sickness.
do it sort of, battle royale style so that we cover that, and then we have to introduce blockchain somehow.
Yeah, put the fish on the blockchain.
Yeah, fish on the blockchain.
Actually, as a fisherman,
Or you put your lures on the blockchain.
as a fisherman, you're
reeling
casting
in a blockchain.
You're casting blockchains into the. We all know how it works. We don't need to go into detail.
Catching tech investments from the deep frigid waters.
So this is, I think if we pitched this, I think
That's some good dough right there.
we do okay.
All right,
Stock
Sam,
price going up.
you wanted to talk about Twitch streamers.
Okay, what is going on? So Twitch, everyone is very excited because Fortnite has been blown up on Twitch, okay? And it's overtaken basically every game as far as total streamers. And there's also a few people who have sort of risen with it. So one of them named Ninja is the guy's name. Who apparently is a very family-friendly streamer. That's why everybody likes him. So until he just dropped, just dropping like it was falling out of his backpack, a racial slur the other day. In his defense, he said he was rapping, which he was. I mean, you can see it on the video. So he wasn't like yelling it at a person, which is usually what happens at Twitch. So this guy sort of rises up, and then this happens. And then there's this other guy who's, I believe, one of the sort of casters for a lot of CS:GO tournaments, Counter-Strike and stuff like that. And he had a birthday stream. Okay, so it's like his birthday party, and apparently got drunk, and then was just like a horrible person on Twitch as well. So told some people to kill themselves, racial slurs, all this stuff.
Nice,
and I'm just like, so every time you see one of these people rise up, literally within you set a timer.
PewDiePie.
It's like a 3-week timer, and then you just wait for them to do one of these things. And I'm just wondering, like, what?
So I guess maybe
What's
it was
going
like
on?
those things were always there. Nobody noticed before. And then they rise up and they're like, oh crap, people are actually paying attention to me. I better be on my best behavior. But then of course people can only behave for a few weeks.
Right.
And then it just comes right back.
Yeah,
But
well,
it's-
if you're recording yourself just nonstop,
Yeah.
and
seems like
you
a
know,
bad move in general.
seems like a bad move in general. But we all have stupid ideas that we slowly shed as we move into adulthood. Though being
not
on the
all of us
internet,
shed
well,
them,
the thing
but-
is, being on the internet reduces your ability to shed. You become like a snake stuck in this skin that won't come off. That's just making you eventually explode.
It's real gross.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's disgusting.
I can't remember where I was going with that. Got lost in that metaphor.
You were talking about how
People are snakes.
exactly.
millennials, snake people.
Snake people. Yeah, it all makes sense. It all comes full
Right.
circle.
So my question is, because I think it really casts it sort of puts this big question in the air to me about Twitch, or about just the general streaming celebs or YouTube celeb phenomenon, which is that these people don't necessarily have handlers for one, right? So actually, like a lot of celebrities, usually you have like a person with you.
Well, and the things they
PR
produce are often edited.
And they
Or not.
actively
Yeah,
avoid
yeah.
things that won't be edited.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about actors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in
Celebs.
this position where you're a celebrity, but you don't actually have necessarily much control over your, I guess, unfiltered self.
Well, and you're a
if that makes
celebrity because you got famous by being on the internet a lot.
So you have to kind of, which is that's rough.
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah, because
You were shaped by your environment.
Yeah, you
You're
were
born in the
shaped by-
darkness.
right. It would be like as if you were born. Yeah, actually, yeah. It's basically like being Bane.
You're Bane.
You're just
Yeah.
Bane. And like, look what he did,
got.
You know? I mean, he was very.
He broke the Batman's back.
Yeah, he did.
You know?
But he was also he was very likable while he was doing. He could like kind of get behind him a bit, you know. But on the other hand,
He's got
was
a
Bane.
weird voice.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool mask.
Yeah.
He-
It's very similar to Twitch streamers, actually.
He
basically the
captured
same.
an airplane. That was cool. But eventually he blew up the Super Bowl or something.
I don't remember
and
what he
then,
He did some things. I don't know.
and then it was all downhill from there.
But I guess my bigger question here is, I think, to me, it points to this really interesting sort of problem that I think Twitch just seems like it's going to have, which is that the celebrities that they end up getting because of how the platform works are not
Regular unfiltered
yeah,
folks.
they're just regular unfiltered people, and they I think principally don't have any sort of blockage or filtering mechanism given to them. And I know that there are. The thing that's been confusing about this is I'm pretty sure on one of the streaming panels that I watched a long time ago at like Indie PopCon or something else, someone was talking about how you can set like a 2-minute delay, and then you can like hit a button. So if you accidentally let out a racial epithet or something, you could hit a button and be like, oh, let me just not have that go onto the stream real quick, and then restart it.
and maybe,
Be like, oh,
maybe
sorry.
stop using those kinds of words.
Technical glitch.
forever.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to do both. I mean, I think it's to protect yourself in the present while you're working on your better self, But I do wonder if it just sort of, is this just going to keep, it's just going to be a thing.
There's
It
a
just
problem
keeps on
because
happening.
the question is, why do people go to Twitch? And it's because of the interaction with the streamer, which I don't really quite comprehend. If there's 500,000 people watching your stream and they're just throwing utter nonsense and garbage into your chat, I'm not quite sure the quality of that interaction, but it does exist sort of in a general sense, right? So the fact is, as a streamer, you want to reduce that delay as much as possible.
true.
Like, you don't want to have a 5-minute lag time because people won't watch your stream because they'll type something and then you'll just sit there for 5 minutes and not respond.
Well, this is also the problem with the whole stream sniping thing, right? Because there were those people that were getting banned from various games because they kept on going into people's streams and then sniping them because they could just tell where they were.
So it was like the old problem of screen watching. When
Yeah,
you're playing
it is
co-op.
yeah, it's just the same
GoldenEye
thing.
or
It's just now
something.
100,000 people can screen watch, right? And the response on behalf of like the companies and the players and stuff were like, just introduce the lag, right? Because then somebody doesn't know for sure where you are. And of course the person's response was exactly correct, which was, well, if I have that lag in there, then people can't see what I'm doing in real time and I can't interact with them in real time, right? And so there's that weird drive that to have that again. Like I also don't understand the value of the interaction because of the reasons you already mentioned. But for whatever reason, there's a strong drive that people have to make that very strange interaction be synchronous. And if that's the case, you don't have the opportunity to undo any mistake that you make.
Yeah.
You just got to make them.
You just gotta, you gotta
one
you gotta make your
option-
bed and lie in it.
Yeah, I think probably a good approach for for people out there is to just be a better person first and then
Start streaming.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think that's, that's a very,
it's a lot to ask.
You got,
it's a pipe dream, you know?
yep. But I think, Adam, to your point about this is an interesting phenomenon that youths of today have to deal with, which is, when we're younger, when we're growing up, we suck.
Yeah, we do.
People,
You also just kind of suck all the time, truthfully.
you suck all the time.
You just try to suck a little less every day.
That's right.
But your younger
Life-
self is your suckiest
Life is a
self.
journey about trying to be less bad, and you start out not knowing much and generally having opinions that are ill-informed because you just haven't met enough people. You don't know enough. And the problem with, growing up with access to Facebook or YouTube, you see people like as soon as they turn 13, they're like, it's time to start up my YouTube channel, right? And they just start broadcasting everything about their lives, which then puts them in the awkward position of having all of that stuff publicly available forever.
Yeah.
Which for us, I think Facebook appeared around the time
I was in college.
Yeah, for me, it was I think my first semester in college. So I'd gotten past much of the garbage of youth by the time I got there. But I still have a bunch of stuff that I regret tremendously having happened publicly on Facebook that I thought was a great idea at the time.
Yeah. But fortunately, by now, you wouldn't do that stuff anymore. Like if you have an idea that you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't post this on here, then you also take the next step and think, ooh, maybe this is just a thing I shouldn't believe.
Right.
And then you can go work on yourself without ever having posted it into a public sphere. But when you're as a younger self, you're going to say a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah. Now it's just there.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you
forever.
this though. This easy access to public forums as a young person, does this potentially push people into echo chambers earlier in life? So if you are a youngster, you're 15 or something, and you post some horrible thing on the internet because you don't know any better yet, there's basically two possible outcomes. One is you get attacked, and another is you get validated. Right. Because there's tons of other terrible people out there who will validate that view. And you're going to gravitate toward the people who validated your opinion and just assume that the people who attacked you.
That YouTube comments are radicalizing our youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's probably a fair statement.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
All right, cool. Well, we solved that.
So
we didn't solve it, but we identified it. It's
there. All right, let's move on. All right. One final thing we want to talk about before we get on to some questions is Sam and I were musing last week that we've started using this phrase in the studio that has become universally applicable to all situations, and we wanted to share it with you guys. The phrase is, you just got to get in there. You just got to get in there.
This is especially important during our week of refactoring everything, because it's hard work that you don't necessarily look forward to doing.
But you just got to get in there.
You just got to get in there.
So here's the thing. This phrase it has exactly the parts that it needs to be the universally applicable motivational phrase. Okay. So
let's break it down.
All right. So right? That's obvious. It's all about you. You got to do it.
You're responsible for it.
Yeah.
You're the person of agency in this scenario.
Yeah. Nobody else is involved. It's not we just got to get in there.
No.
It's not they just got to get in there. You just got to get in there.
No bystanders here.
That's right. All right. Now, just don't overcomplicate things. Okay. It's that magic J word that says, don't fucking worry about it. You just got to get in there. There's no more to it than that. You just got to get in there. Okay. Gotta. There's no choice here. If you want something to happen, you gotta. You gotta get in there.
It's required.
Right? Yeah. You can't keep being out here.
Nope.
You gotta get in there.
Yeah.
You know? All right. So then get. We don't care how you do it. You can walk in there. You can jog in there. You can go in there. You guys.
It's just all about moving that location from out here to
get
in
is
there.
just sort of that. It's just that amorphous verb you need to get in there.
You got to get in there. Right. And then the last piece is, of course, in there, which is
could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere, but it's definitely not out here,
Right. No.
which is where you currently are.
Yeah, which is the wrong spot.
The wrong place to be, because you just got to get in there.
Yep.
And then you're good. So if ever you're facing a problem in life, you just got to get in there.
Yeah, we kept on repeating this to one another as we were running into these stupid problems.
Someone's like, oh man, like I'm just really struggling with this bug. It's like, well, shut up. You just got to get in there. Fix it.
Where is it?
It's
You got to
in there.
get in there.
You got to get in there.
Where it is, get it.
If you're like, I'm a father of a teenage son, and I feel like
We're just not connecting.
You just got to get in there.
Play some Minecraft.
You just got to get in there. Be a dad.
Yeah.
Watch Markiplier.
Go to their football games or whatever.
Yeah.
They're doing. You just got to get in there and be present. You just got to get in there. You want to learn something? You just got to get in there.
Go get a book.
Get
in that book.
Get in there. Get in that book. You just got to get in there.
It's true. Well, so on Sunday, I was approaching right in the next Ballyhoo number 2, which is our newsletter going out. And, the last one took quite a bit of time to put together. And so I made an outline for it, and then I was kind of tinkering away. But I just, I hadn't really gotten in there yet.
You hadn't gotten in there.
And it kind of bummed me out.
You gotta.
On Saturday, yeah. So on Saturday night, I made a plan. I was like, all right, Sunday morning, I'm going to get in there. I have my bag packed. I'm just going to get up. As soon as I wake up in the morning, no matter what time it is, I'm just going to go to the cafe.
Just going to get in there.
I'm just going to get in there. And I did. Just booted up the computer, and I just got in there.
You just got in there.
Just opened the dock, and then just started working on it. And the funny thing was, within 10 minutes of working on it, I was in there.
You were in there.
And I was enjoying myself.
Now that you're in there, it's easy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you're already in there.
It's like
now.
getting into a pool. You
It
know?
really
Like,
is. The water's always just not comfortable.
But you just got to get in there.
then it's fun.
Yeah, the best way to enter into a pool is to leap into it.
Yeah.
If you do that
Just
slow tiptoe,
gotta
oh God,
get in
horrible.
there.
Don't make a big deal about it.
Just got to get in there. Okay?
So I hope,
Guys, quit it.
Yeah.
You just got to get in there.
I hope maybe this apply to someone this
You know,
week.
this week, if you were thinking about the struggles of life and things that you want to accomplish,
Just quit thinking about it.
Quit, just got to get in there. You just got to get in there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's get on to some questions.
Let's get into some questions.
All right. These questions come from our listeners over at podcast.bscotch.net. So if you'd like to get your question on a future episode, get over there, put your question in the text box and hit the submit button.
Just
and
get
maybe
in
we
there.
will
Just
answer
get
it.
in there.
You just got to get in there. First question comes from Duckmaster. Is coffee the source of all life? No, because coffee beans are alive, and that would be weird.
If we all evolved from coffee beans,
Well, that would mean coffee beans would have to evolve from themselves, which of course is impossible.
That is
So-
a good. I don't see any counter argument.
All right, cool. Next question comes from imcade. Would you ever do a recap podcast episode? For example, funniest moments of the first 50 episodes or top 10 most ridiculous ideas from the first 50 episodes, stuff like that.
that'd be cool, but I wouldn't do it.
An enormous amount of work would be required because somebody would have to listen to all 140 existing hours of the podcast.
Make that value judgment
Yeah.
about the top 10 blah.
So I got a solution. Somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So if you're a listener and you're like, I want this to happen, maybe if your name is imcade and this is something you want to see
Just clip it
happen,
together, send it to us. If it's good, maybe we'll put it on the official podcast roll.
because finding the top 10 moments from the first 50 episodes would take something like 50 hours just to find those moments.
Yep.
Then you gotta get in there.
Although that part would be relatively easy.
Clipping's fast, yeah.
Yeah. Although actually, because you got to download everything, you got to open it up in an audio program, you got to find the right spot, you
lot
got
of
to
weight.
clip it, you got to stitch it together. You got 50 clips you got to stitch together. Yeah, that's gonna suck in
Yeah,
every
hard-
dimension.
hard
we
pass.
do, however, have the first 60 episodes, I believe, of all the intros
Oh,
clips
yeah.
together that I think Patrick.
Is it on SoundCloud?
It's on SoundCloud, yeah.
Did we?
It's
I don't think it's on SoundCloud.
It is. It's not through the RSS feed.
Oh,
It's
so
not on
people
iTunes
on
or
there?
anything like
Are you
that.
sure it's on there?
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we're like, people don't need to see this.
I can't remember.
Basically, yeah. I think that's what happened.
I can't remember why we didn't actually use it.
I think because we were like, this is really weird.
I don't know, but we now have almost 150 of these bizarre intro sequences.
Yeah.
That would be easy
Those are a lot easier to get at
because they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there at the beginning.
You still got to download 150 things, open each one, take the first part.
This is one of those examples of like the amount of meta work required to actually do the work is so huge. It's not like the work is hard. It's just a huge chore.
That's right.
Pick it all up.
Yeah.
So if somebody does want to do that and just like send us the MP3, we'll put it up there.
for it.
We'll
The
put it up there.
problem is it also has to be really good.
Yeah, so don't send us garbage.
Yeah.
Or we'll throw it in the garbage. All right, next question comes from MySecretWeapon. In past episodes, you've talked about submitting talks to things like GDC that get shot down, most of which sounded really interesting and potentially super informative.
They were
That's
both of
true.
those,
They
yes.
were really just
Yep.
super good. Probably our best work, frankly.
Yeah. The best part of it was that we didn't have to actually write the talks before we
Yep.
proposed them.
We got to be idea people. We're
Yep.
just like, here's my idea. And it's seriously so good. Such a good idea.
Yep.
Would you ever consider doing some of the talks in-house anyway as a YouTube series or something?
Had we actually made them, yes.
No,
Well, also,
even then.
I don't know, because it's, so actually, here's an interesting point. So we have this patch of dirt out back in my house.
We call it the dirt patch.
It's called a dirt patch. This dirt patch took me like 20 hours of digging to make because I had to rip up the sod, which turned out to be a lot of work.
Probably should
I like this.
Probably
This
should
is
have gotten
like-
one of those tillers.
This is like a fable.
I should have
This
got
is a
this.
fable.
Okay, so I got this dirt patch back there, and last year
He was Paul Bunyan in it.
we bunyan in it. I was bunyan in it.
She's bunyan in
And
that
so
dirt patch.
last year, we planted vegetables in this dirt patch. The rabbits proceeded to eat basically all the vegetables, aside from like 4 jalapenos and 1 squash. Okay, so that was a huge amount of effort.
Because you forgot to put up the 12-inch fence, because apparently, despite the fact that rabbits are known for jumping, they will not jump over a 12-inch
They won't jump to
fence.
get food. They'll jump to get away, but not to get food.
So this explains those games where your character can't jump and you run across a pebble.
It's basically a
and you're
rabbit.
like, well, this is an impassable terrain. I can't.
You're essentially a rabbit.
I can't.
So yeah, apparently you can do that, but then you have to do that, right? So now you got to get this chicken wire thing.
You got to
cut
protect
that.
your investment.
And I went to the depot of homes and I found a roll of this chicken wire, and it was like expensive, and it was huge. I have a tiny little plot.
Tell me you don't need 936 feet of chicken wire?
These huge rabbits, just giant rabbits.
Yeah.
Did you try just sticking some stakes in the ground and then just buying some just like wire, just wrapping it around there?
No.
Or even better, a box of razor blades.
Or just put barbed wire around.
Make your own barbed wire.
Okay.
Put it
You
around
just
vegetables.
you put some signs around your vegetables that says, come on.
Come on, rabbit. So, I worked really hard on this. So this year, now, it's springtime. Spring is coming. And
Well,
we're still having some cold snaps here in St. Louis. It literally snowed today.
Yeah, we were looking out this weekend. We saw like all this green stuff coming up out of our yard.
Like, that's all gonna die.
Fuck yeah! And then today, as I left coming outside, it was all just encased in ice.
Yep.
So I guess
St.
all
Louis
good.
does this thing where it just chooses a random season depending on the day. So yesterday was winter. It was spring.
It's going to be in the 60s tomorrow, so tomorrow will be...
Yeah, our seasons just mean it's more likely to be a summer-like day if you're in the middle of summer.
It's a weighted dice roll for the situation.
But you don't
sometimes we roll a D1 and it just snows in July.
We don't roll on a temperature. We roll on what season it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I was like, we should get this garden planted again soon. Next couple weeks, right? Prime planting season. And we were talking about what we want to put in there. And she's like, maybe we shouldn't do vegetables because the rabbits will just eat all of it. So what if we did like a flower garden instead? Just have like a big plot of flowers just erupting out of the earth.
Or protect your vegetables.
Yeah, you got to decide whether you want vegetables but also to be a rabbit murderer.
But yes, right? So here's, I didn't want to do that. So I said, okay, maybe I should go do that. So I planned I'm going to go get some stuff to line the edge with. Because maybe the rabbits will hit it like a 1 pixel block and they won't be able to get over it.
Yeah. A collision problem.
So I was like planning this out. I need a bunch of dirt. Gotta get this stuff, get the flowers, figure this out. And then Diana said, well, I'm going to have to water it every day during the summer too.
Yeah. Because it doesn't rain anymore.
Yeah. Because suddenly we're just in a desert and you just have to water everything every day. And she's like, last year I spent actually like a considerable amount of time watering all those vegetables that never appeared because the rabbits ate all of them. And then we're talking about it, and I was like, I never really thought about the fact that if I plant this garden, now we have to water it.
You got to do all kinds of shit.
And you got to handle it for the next 3 or 4 months. And there's a high likelihood that something will just come and destroy it, whether it's a rabbit or a squash bug. Or people. Yeah.
They're also vegetable thieves.
Well, there's all these externalities that I had not considered.
This is what Tyler Durden was talking about.
Yeah, the stuff you make or the stuff you own ends up owning you.
That's right.
And this is also why we need...
That's why Tyler Durden didn't have a vegetable garden. And instead, he started a cult and had his cultists farm vegetables for him.
Exactly. So, but going back to the question. What was the question? I know it's related, but I can't remember. The
question was whether we would, after creating these talks and submitting them, whether we would consider making YouTube.
So here's the problem. Because if we want to create a talk, so there's one thing to like write an article. Right? We can write an article and just put it up on the blog.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it and make it look good, now you got to format it too. Right? Take a little bit more time. And if you want it to actually be really good, then probably whoever did not write it will have to read it and edit it. You got to refactor it, right?
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of stuff going on. But if you want to do a YouTube video, have us give it a talk in the studio, are there slides involved? Are we just talking in front of the whiteboard?
You got to write it out. Then you got to rehearse it several times. You got to make your slides or do whatever.
You got to set up the tech. But you got to edit it. Then you have to re-record it when you realize you'd fucked something up during the recording.
Which happens every time.
And you know what's not happening during all this? Level head development.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think
it's a thing.
There are times when there's something that looks really good. And I think, in our early days, we did a lot of things like this, where we would say, that looks like a good thing to do. Let's go do it. Having done a bunch of these now, and I feel like understanding what these externalities are for all these various activities, I'm very not inclined to do almost everything that is not strictly game development.
Plus anything we do, no matter how awesome it is, the only feedback we're going to get is that it wasn't Crashlands 2, and therefore everyone is just disappointed.
We could even make Crashlands 3, and that's going to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah, it would be.
Because we skipped one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never
Never skipped Crashlands 2.
So the whole lesson is if you plant a flower garden, now you got to defend it from giant rabbits.
Now you got to become a rabbit.
You got to water
murderer.
it.
Is that what you want?
Yeah. Is that what you want?
I'm saying this as Sam has bitten the head off of a chocolate off a chocolate rabbit sitting right there.
That's very funny. It is Easter time.
It is. Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay. So it's all about high leverage things.
Well, no, the point is that if you want to plant a flower garden, it's not just the fact that you have a flower garden now. Like, you have all of these other problems generated by
your life is different now because you're a flower gardener.
Correct, because you made this one thing of value, and around that thing of value is a bunch of pieces of just shitty work.
But this is what robots are for, right? Because
I don't have a robot that can assassinate rabbits.
well, you
Well,
don't
not yet.
you don't yet because
This might drive me to build
because the problem was that you went right to the thing you wanted to solve right now, which was gross vegetables, right? And you said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to go get in there but I'm not going to get anywhere else. I'm going to get in right there." And I'm not, and you didn't explore the possible, risk space of all of the horrible things that could happen.
I did not read anything about playing.
And so you learned.
I went out there and I dug for like 3-4 hours, broke my back, and then threw seeds in the ground.
But here's the thing: you just got in there, and that was the right move.
Yeah.
You learned a bunch of things.
Because now I learned.
And now you know about rabbits. You know about
murder,
vegetable thieves. You
don't know about murder yet.
You don't know about you haven't tried murder, but you know it can.
I am now willing to. That is true.
So now you know all of these things. So now when it comes to deciding this year, don't make a vegetable garden. You could go down the path that you were going down, which is all of these things just happen. There's nothing we can do about it. Therefore, we should not waste our time making a garden. Or you can say, how do I build robots? Which, is a metaphor for solve all of those problems.
Get a sprinkler.
Yeah.
Sprinkler's kind of
get a sprinkler and some chicken wire.
Put a 12-inch fence up. And now, actually, really, most of your problems are solved already.
Basically, that's all I do.
There's another option, which is...
It seems like a lot of work.
So there's this type of wizard who lives in the world who... They just make plants come out of the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
They've got all these insane contraptions that they ride in. Okay. And they
have spinning blades.
They've got
attached
spinning
to them.
blades and all kinds of crazy shit. And these people,
dope class to roll.
these people, they know how to just make millions of vegetables come out of the ground all the time. Right?
Are you talking about farm-mancy?
Farm-mancers. Okay. So you could uniquely solve all these problems badly and basically ruin your summer because now you have to just murder rabbit after rabbit and you just have blood on your hands all day long.
What if
A lot of lucky rabbit paws, though.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, what if I take to the general exercise of murdering rabbits, though,
Then that's a whole different thing.
It becomes a calling.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Then you got a whole new set of problems.
Yeah.
that you got to work through.
But I do think there is.
So now you just go. So these farm mancers, they've done the work. They sent the veggies
I believe
out.
there's a farm-mancing bazaar.
There's
that
a
often
whole
opens
market.
up.
Yeah.
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 Where you can go reap the fruits of their labor, literally.
Yeah. But I think, there's an interesting point here, though, which is that I do think there is value in doing the things that are kind of, hard or annoying. But because you can offload everything to other people nowadays, right?
If only to learn how hard and annoying they are.
Or to robots. No, I do think there's a value in doing your own stuff from time to time. Having to is the annoying part. Not being able to have a choice because you have to grow vegetables because otherwise you have no vegetables.
I was so relieved last year when it didn't rain the whole summer because I mowed my lawn 3 times and that was it.
Yep.
It was great. So sometimes you luck out.
Sometimes you do.
But you never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
But you won't know until you just get in there.
That's true. So now I'm standing on this, the fork in the road, and I'm like, do I just leave that hole in the ground in the backyard?
Yeah, now you got a whole new problem.
Now I got a dirt hole.
Well,
or
but you're not thinking of alternative solutions because one is
Goldfish pond.
Well, actually, that's a good one. I was going to take it a step further and say you've already started a hole.
carnival.
Just keep going. Just keep digging. Just keep.
What's down there?
What
Who
is down
knows?
there?
Could be some treasure. Could be a fucking.
I've played Minecraft.
Yeah,
I don't
There
know.
could be obsidian down there.
there probably is if you dig deep enough.
Diamonds.
Yeah,
Gold.
Just,
Coal.
All right.
so yeah, so now your
There's all
farming
kinds of
experiment
minerals.
turns into a mining experiment.
What are the rabbits that take your coal, though? That's my question.
Moles.
They're down there.
Moles.
Be
I bet
careful.
they're down
They're
there.
big.
Mole people.
I know how games
mole-
work.
mole
Anytime there's
people.
something of value, there's something that's going to take it from you.
That's right.
Yeah. Although usually they kill you to take it.
Nothing
'cause then you
ventured,
just drop
nothing
it.
gained. High risk, high reward. You dig that hole, see what's down there. Be sure to anchor a rope to your house so that you can get it back out.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this also kind of makes me think of when we taught the class, the game dev class, because we kind of realized, hey, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, for 16 weeks, you got to keep going back there for some, like every week, you got to keep going back
hours.
there for hours, tell people things. Then
Just
you got
to have them not listen.
Then you got to evaluate them too. And you got to tell them to do better and stuff like that. So we kind of were reflecting on that. And we're like, you know, it'd be so much easier to now that we've compiled this 16 weeks worth of material, to compile that into a book.
Asynchronous. That's what it is.
Now people can read the book and we don't have to keep going there every week.
Yeah. I don't have to read the book to them, which is like what going to a class is.
Right. Going to a class is just having somebody read a book to you.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we're not doing that yet because we're working on that.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from RetroBananaManNL. Hey. He said, hey. So, your moving game titles on the main screens are amazing, but how did you do it? I guess by programming. But how does it still look good when it's tilted a bit?
I don't know. I'm gonna rely on you to unpack this.
Right.
I don't know
Is this
what
an aliasing question.
It's an aliasing question.
Yeah.
So what? Let's back it up. What is aliasing?
Aliasing. I don't really know. It's some kind of wizardry.
Basically,
Aliasing.
It's guessing where the edge of a thing is and filling in pixels.
Yeah. Well, so the idea is
blurring the
that
edges.
your display is a bunch of pixels. Your art is a bunch of pixels. If you line those things up 1 to 1, so every pixel in your art has a pixel on the screen, it looks exactly like God.
Beautiful.
Intended, right? Wonderful. But if you move it a bit so that now it's, if you like, especially if you rotate it.
Yeah.
If you rotate it a tiny bit, now there's exactly a 0 to 0 relationship between any of your pixels because they're not even squares anymore.
Now they're diamonds. How do you fit a diamond?
Oh, that's
into
where
a
the
square?
diamonds come from.
Have you tried rotating your hole?
Have you tried rotating the hole?
I'll try that.
So
This one weird trick.
So this is the problem, is that you no longer have a one-to-one relationship between the hardware and the thing you're trying to display on it, right? So aliasing basically says it's the computer going, I don't know what the fuck you are trying to do here, so I'm going to try to make this work. And
The
it
computer's
says,
like, why would you rotate?
Why would you
or-
do this to me?
Yeah, or if you shrink it, or if you grow it, or if you translate it by a partial pixel or whatever, right? So now basically the computer has to say, all right, well, I just have to decide, because it can only show pixels. That's all it can do. So it's going to say, okay, I just have to infer what this pixel should look like given what this original image was and how this thing has been changed. And this is where aliasing comes in. Is basically, it's the computer saying, okay, I don't actually have a value for this, so I'm going to compute one.
I'm going to look around
To the other pixels and be like,
Guess the
okay,
color.
well, I'm now a quarter of a pixel off. So I'm going to make this pixel on the screen the color of the one that's right here
plus
times
a little bit of that one.
little bit of that one or whatever, right? So that's what aliasing is. And so that what this causes to happen is that if a thing is not pixel perfect when you're displaying it, it's going to look like shit to some degree.
Usually what you have is you have jagged edges.
Jagged
I believe
edges,
pixel
or
artists
you have-
literally call them jaggies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You get these things. You got to go in there and you actually have to go fix them whenever you make your art because
Right.
you can have too many of these sort of like little cliffs coming off of anything that's usually on a diagonal.
Yeah. So basically jaggedness or blurriness. Those are kind of the two consequences of aliasing artifacts.
So the way that you fix it is in GameMaker, there's a checkbox
This is actually serious.
that says interpolate colors between pixels.
Which just does a
it
good
just
job of
turns
aliasing.
on. Yeah, there's a term in in graphics rendering called anti-aliasing, which you may see if you're a PC gamer and you open up your game and you go to the settings and it'll say anti-aliasing, and then they have a bunch of incomprehensible things down there.
There's
but
like FX2AA.
Yeah.
V shader,
and you,
sync.
and you just assume that the further down the list you go, the more good it is,
Which may or
'Cause
may
you're a
not be
PC
true.
gamer. Yeah.
Who knows? But
May or may
but
not
the
be
numbers get bigger.
The
so it's
numbers get
probably
bigger and some of the letters change too. And that's how you know that things are good and different.
Yep.
So all that does is then it just does the same thing as that GameMaker
Yeah,
checkbox.
it's just doing a better or worse job of inferring what those pixels should be.
Yep.
But this all hinges on you having a lot of pixels in your image in the first place. Because if you got a tiny image with a small number of pixels, or if you have edges that are only like 1 pixel thick, then you just can only do a shitty job. So the other part is
higher resolution.
higher resolution stuff is always going to work better.
Yeah. So
We had this problem in all of our assets on the edges of things because we have those black outlines on all of our art.
Yeah.
And so part of our ink pump or inkbot pipeline that carries all the stuff from Sam's art files into the game actually does a round of treating all of those things.
it's a
Takes a
very
little bit.
small blur.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of a blur, adds a little bit of like extra color, sort of very transparent pixels to make it so that when GameMaker goes and does its aliasing, it just does a better job. But the other thing that Sam had to start doing, because we saw this in Crashlands, that anything that was perfectly straight and thin, you could actually see it. Like as it was moving up and down, you could see it flipping between 1 pixel thick and 2 pixels
I think
thick.
you can see that on wooden walls still.
Yeah.
In
There's still
Crashlands.
some stuff you
Yeah.
can see it on.
You'll see it.
Basically, the line that goes around the outside of the object, the black line, will flicker a little bit.
And
because
the
it's
reason-
not quite thick enough, and so it's actually jumping between pixel locations.
Well, yeah, because the camera in Crashlands moves between pixels.
Mm-hmm.
So the camera can exist at XY coordinate, 6.09 or something like that, which means the camera is making everything in the world blurry. Because even if that wall is sitting at a nice, perfectly whole number rounded
Very
location, meaning it should look fine and crisp. The camera is in between pixels, so then that means so is everything else. So
So don't make your lines too thin. That's really kind of the main thing.
don't do that.
Yep.
You're good.
Yep.
All right, next question comes from PS7 Cho. Psycho in leet speak. So,
Very elite.
being people who test and learn, what are your thoughts on open development for Snuppies, which was the
Scuffle Buddies.
original name of Scuffle Buddies? Open development, what even is it?
So open development is basically the idea. It's like if you're a musician and you said, okay, I want everybody to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Because
Musicians make sausage.
I'm with you.
You're a sausage musician.
You make sausage music.
Just follow along.
Yeah,
It's very
the being a
complicated.
musician is unrelated to the sausage.
It's a
It's
hobby.
just a hobby that you, as we all know, every musician also has a hobby.
You gotta have
where
a
they
day
make
job
sausage.
sometimes. So if you want to invite people to actually participate almost in a spectator-like fashion, mainly in a spectator-like
In the
fashion,
sausage making.
in the making of the sausage, which you use to make music.
Correct.
Because you're just slapping your sausages
That's what it is.
on drums or
But
something.
I don't understand how music is made, so I believe it's something
Pretty
to do
sure
with it.
Fat Bard can verify.
Because I haven't
It's
seen,
very messy. There's a
I
lot of
haven't seen an
grease.
open development model like this. I don't know how it works.
I've never seen how the sausage
never
makes
gotten in
music.
But yeah, so the big thing for Scuffle Buddies in particular was that we were trying to keep it under wraps, because a big part of our problem with our development is that we move quick enough that the game shifts form almost constantly.
Almost daily.
Yeah, and especially a big game like Scuffle Buddies, it's still, I mean, even up to the point we got it to in December when we decided to start working on Levelhead. Even at that point, it had just sort of shifted into a completely new paradigm for how it operates. And so one of the problems that we have with open development is that it can lead to sort of like community problems, because like I don't necessarily want the community's opinion, which they will give freely whenever you show something, about a system that we're putting in that we just got in the game, and then how that's going to affect the whole thing, because we don't even know if it's going to end up in there. And a big part of this with Crashlands is that we put in tons of systems and then either ripped them out or completely morphed them by the time the game launched. And so it's one of those hard things where we have to sort of measure, would it actually be fun for people to see this, or would it just sort of cause us community management
Honestly,
headaches?
I can't think of a better way to get nothing done than
that's-
to do open development.
So it's this idea of having a flower garden, right?
Well,
So-
it makes it seem like you're getting things done. It's mistaking activity for progress.
because you have
right?
to make a blog post about, oh, here's the new system we put in the game. But the thing is, now you've just done about maybe like 6 hours of extra work about this, and maybe in 2 weeks you're going to rip it out.
Yeah.
Shit.
Or if you're streaming development on Twitch, which is a pretty popular thing to do now.
Really hard to do. I don't know if anybody's actually tried it who's listening, but it is exexhausting.
Yeah.
Absolutely exhausting.
And you're going to get half as much stuff done.
Not even that much. There's no.
Not even. Because, So there's that, what's the rule? It's like for every interruption, it takes you about 15 to 20 minutes to kind of get back to the,
Meat.
basically to get in there.
Yeah.
Right. It takes as we all know, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes
to get in there.
to just get in there.
Even once you've decided to. It's kind of like if you were to jump into a pool after you decided to get in there, and then it just took 15 minutes of very, very slow air travel. That's basically what it's like to get back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's more like, you jump in that pool, you're going to be cold for the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fair. That might be a better metaphor.
Yeah.
Slow motion cannonball sounds awesome.
But after a while, you know, it's good now.
I just like the picture of you leaping and then you just float.
You're just not getting in
just
there.
very slowly
trying to get in there.
And then, like right before your toe touches the water, somebody grabs you and they pull you back on. They're like, "Hey, real quick, can I ask you? Can I ask you something?"
So I think it's also the reason why we shy away from open dev, is because it's a lot more work. Again,
It's very costly.
flower garden problem. So you want to do this open dev, it sounds really cool, sounds neat to have the community involved, but now you have to manage that community. You have to have a place for them to talk about stuff or just let people make comments on your videos. your blog, whatever else. You have to write blog posts or make videos and all this stuff. And it can be very useful if you really just want to connect to your user base, and it's a fun thing to do. But it's not without its own.
Well, but also most of the stuff that you're making, especially at the very beginning, is bad. It's ugly. It's a prototype, right?
Yeah.
And that means that the people who are watching you do this have to be able to enjoy that for some reason, which means either they have to be fellow developers or players who just really know this kind of thing. But most importantly, it means that you have to make fucking stellar prototypes and be very engaging to interact with, right? Because otherwise, who the fuck is going to want to watch that? And you'll see a lot of streams of people doing open dev where they're basically, again, because this is just how development works. At the beginning, it's ugly. So they're just silently making ugly stuff.
Yeah.
And that is not valuable to anybody. It's not good for you. It's not useful to the people watching. But as development goes on, you start actually having a product that has features you want to demo to people or whatever. I think there is potentially some value in doing a more interactive model for
later on
for showing stuff to be like, so we just put together an MP4 and threw it up on Twitter and said, hey, here's kind of an encapsulation of what we've been up to. And instead of doing that, we could have said, all right, we're going to put on an event where we're going to go onto Twitch or Google or whatever. And we're going to show, like we're going to be there with our faces. We're going to show what we're doing and let you guys throw some feedback our way. Right. We could go either way. I think there's things to be said for both of those, especially if you want to get sort of alpha type feedback without necessarily doing and, deploying an alpha, because deploying an alpha is way more expensive than putting up a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
For a couple hours
and talking to people. So yeah, I think there's some room for it, but I think that model of literally openly developing where you just show everything you're doing, I don't think is wise from beginning thinking, but I also don't think it has a lot of value.
Well, I think it also, knowing that you are constantly being broadcast, I think discourages you from being willing to make mistakes.
Yeah. But it also makes it really hard
it suppresses ideas.
Yeah. And it makes it hard to do things that are secret.
Yeah.
So because we have all this web integration stuff, then we have to make sure that it's not super trivial for people to hack things. People will, of course, always figure it out eventually. But we also want to just minimize how bad of an impact they can have. And so that means that some things that we put in the code have to be secret to some extent or obfuscated or something. And if we're sitting here just with a video stream, just showing people exactly how we did it,
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's going to make it so that the people who don't let us have nice things get to just watch that and say, okay, cool.
Well, that's
I see how you did
that.
that. So now I just have a direct one-to-one, relationship between that game and hacking it instead of having to do all the hard work of figuring it out.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's this kind of a funny thing that I've realized as we've gone down our own path in game dev, is that I used to think that a lot of the secrecy in game dev was because people had secrets.
Right.
And I realize now it's just because there's a whole bunch of extra work that goes along with telling people what you're doing, and that's not work that's on the games.
Yeah. And there are some secrets, but it's mostly that it's just incompatible with getting something done.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Next question comes from Angry Muffin. We got another scuffle. We got a couple of Scuffle Buddies questions this week.
Are these old or are these?
No, well, sometimes.
Well, I think it's hard
sometimes
to know. Are there even
old.
dates on there?
Nope.
I think no.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
We didn't have that feature. Wasn't
I did not include that. I did not include that feature.
Yeah, we're gonna probably talk to the developer of the podcast page.
I would definitely love some feedback. No, I wouldn't.
No, you. Angry Muffin says Scuffle Buddies has creature capturing / taming in an overworld. Then the buddies are used in glorious battle. This sounds a bit like Pokemon, but the method of capture, set a trap, then reel in a tether, sounds a lot like the birding game. Right track? So this is definitely an older question.
It is, and it also demonstrates the problem.
Exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. So we could just talk about it because it's 2018. All right. So where we landed with Scuffle Buddies is, let's see, there's an overworld that has actually a fair bit of crafting involved.
Yes.
To navigate your way through the world, and you build lots of stuff and whatever. Yeah. So we're kind of pulling from our experience with Crashlands to make that part of the game interesting and compelling. Plus we have a new, very deep interaction system in the game where you can try to at least use anything on anything. So if you got a machete, you're like, what if I use this machete on this NPC? What happens, right?
He dies.
Maybe nothing. Maybe he dies. Maybe he gets mad, whatever. Probably nothing.
Probably
because we don't want to encourage just straight up murder.
That's a quick save moment, from Fallout.
Quick save, use that machete. So we have that system, and then we have the trapping system, which used to have a tether. And this kind of comes back to, like we were just talking about, of how things are changing all the time. Mm-hmm. So the way the trapping game originally worked was you'd put a trap down and you put some bait on the trap. Mm-hmm. And depending on the bait and depending on sort of where you were, and then also depending on your sneakiness level, because you'd have to like put the trap down and then go hide behind different things.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It's pretty awesome. So you go hide behind stuff, and then you have a little sneakiness meter. And then depending on the combination of all those variables, a group of buddies would emerge from
behind stuff,
from under a rock,
because they're also sneaky
out of a shrub. Like, this is all stuff it's in there. It's in the game. Like, we've made all this stuff already. So they come out, and then they would creep toward the trap, and then you would hit a button to trigger the trap to tether one of the buddies, and it would grab, I think, just the closest one or something. And then it starts this kind of action game where the trap has like a directionality to it, and the buddy's trying to run away.
Basically is the birding game.
Yeah. And you gotta rope them in. And then when they get onto the trap, then you catch them and it's good.
It's very intense.
Very intense. And we removed it completely.
Yep.
We removed it because everything else in the game is real.
It's methodical.
Right. So the battles are these sort of team-based, turn-based, almost like capture the flag kinds of battles.
Yeah, for those of you who played Snuppies, which was the jam game that sort of birthed Scuffle Buddies, it's very similar to that general idea.
And those who want to play it, it is playable.
It's on itch.io.
It's on our itch page.
Bscotch?
No, bscotch.itch.io.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the battle is this turn-based strategic thing where you bring a set of sort of like cards to the battle, and you bring buddies and spells and stuff like that, and you try to capture the flag. And when you're out in the overworld, you're doing a lot of more deliberate things where you're crafting and, exploring and stuff like that. And then there's this moment where all of a sudden you got to put like both hands on the device, and you're just like while you're trying to tether this buddy.
Intense.
It just didn't fit.
It was fun. It was fun by itself, which is an interesting point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we wanted it in there.
You can have elements of a game that are actually really fun by themselves, but don't work in concert with the whole rest of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were kind of bummed to take it out, but it had to be done.
It had to be done.
Die.
So what we replaced it with was basically a new version of, and again, this may not even maybe none of this will be in the final game.
Who knows?
So we replaced it with a sort of a version of the turn-based strategy game that you experienced during the battle, where now instead of playing capture the flag, you've got your trap with your bait, and you're there by the trap, and then the buddies turn by turn creep their way toward the trap and try to get the bait, and then you bring a bunch of items that you've crafted and you deploy those to try to catch the right buddy and scare away the other buddies and keep them from stealing the bait and all this other. So it becomes a strategy game. So you were on the right track, but not anymore because everything changed.
But that might not be what it is.
This does reveal sort of a hidden positive thing about open development, which is, especially for us, because we change everything that we're doing constantly, it'll make it, it's basically obfuscation of what the product will actually be.
That's true, because even we don't know. But we're throwing out chaff, right? So then if people are coming in because they want to steal what we're doing.
But it's not quite obfuscation, it's misdirection, which I don't think is good.
Those are sort of the same thing.
Because I don't know, because like in a marketing sense, if I'm like, oh, I really want that new product that the Bscotch team's putting together, and then it turns out to be not that seems very bad. Or
even worse, if somebody says, wow, that new thing the Bscotch crew is putting together looks like shit.
We're like, that was last week. It looks good now.
It's good now, but they've already.
But that is assuming that any of the people who will eventually buy it even saw that in the first place, which is
let's be real, no one's paying attention.
Very not likely.
Yeah. So again,
but some people who may be paying attention are people who want to, get there first. So if we're putting together some unique combination of ideas and then just showing the world exactly how we're implementing them, then, in principle, somebody could come along and be like, I'm just going to take all this and then go try to, get it out.
So I will say the nice thing about making games that are more complicated than the ones we used to make, because we used to make a lot of arcade games, is that no one can
people
clone
are too
our
lazy
shit
for
anymore,
that. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That's true.
So
if we can make a game in 8 hours, somebody can clone it in 8 hours. Yeah. But if it takes us 3 years of iteration to make it, no one's cloning that.
Yeah. Battle Royale, perfect example is you can just put that in an ice fishing game.
Apparently, yeah.
Who cares? Everybody can clone it.
Which is weird. I mean, it is a pretty elaborate game, but
not really.
It's an extension of.
But the core concept that makes it enticing is not.
Yeah. Right. Which is throwing 100 people and having them kill each other.
Yep.
All right. Next question comes from MySecretWeapon. When are we going to get our see-through dang tank on the merch shop? I'm finding it very hard to keep track of my dangs lately. When is that happening?
I don't know.
So we talked about how your coffee cup is basically a metaphorical representation of how many dangs you have left.
Mine is empty right now.
When your coffee is out, you can no longer give a dang.
Oh, that's not quite true because you're actually transferring from the coffee's dang tank into your own dang tank. And so there's actually a lag.
It's dang fuel.
It's dang fuel, yeah.
But the dang tank is in your
because it's in you now, but because it's caffeine based and caffeine just steals from your future.
Mm-hmm.
And what coffee actually does is it's representing the number of dangs you're taking from your future and giving to your present. So when that thing is empty, that is now you have just recently maximally stolen your future.
You're at max dang.
You're at max dang right now. Yeah, the moment your coffee cup is empty, if you drink it fast. Otherwise, you're kind of like holding at a steady state dang tank level, you know?
So what you're saying is a coffee cup is a portal to the future
Of dangs.
where you can siphon your dangs from.
Yep.
You just reach through the portal into the future, take the dangs from future
You just have
you.
them now.
You have them now, and future you is just shit out of luck. And then you have this sort of escalating coffee requirement thing, because now for future you
I think
to
actually
have dangs.
All it does is it just offsets your dangs by one day.
That's true. So
That's the only thing that coffee does.
The first time you ever drink coffee
it's amazing.
is the only time you'll ever get a true benefit from it. Because the next time you drink it, you're just once again offsetting your debt, which is also why it's so hard to stop drinking coffee. Then,
because now you're in a dang deficit.
And the problem is quitting something requires dangs.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, so now you're at a dang deficit and you're trying to quit.
And you're trying to quit.
It's a hard
Can't
situation.
do it. Can't do it.
So now you just keep on stealing from tomorrow.
I guess nicotine is probably the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if you if you coffee and nicotine, then you're in a real
double dang bar.
You're in a double dang deficit. That's a real conundrum right there. All right. So
as far as when we're going
merch shop. Yeah, we don't know.
I don't have
Next question comes from Kula Bula. Hope things are going well with the new setup. My son is excited about Levelhead and would like to know if
he should be.
If it will be ready for his birthday, which I'm not going to say when his son's birthday is, but it's in the middle of the year. Okay. Roughly. Or Christmas. And will there be a dinosaur?
Which are all very good questions. I also want to know, how old is this child and does he listen to the podcast? Because there could be some...
He's going to be learning a lot.
He's going to be learning many things.
Too much, perhaps.
Too much.
Also, these are three quintessential childlike questions.
That's true.
Can I have it for my birthday or Christmas? And is there going to be a dinosaur? Because as a child, those are basically the three lenses through which I view the world.
Why is that? You think that it always falls along those
Christmas,
dimensions?
birthday,
dinosaurs are awesome. Birthdays are the best, and Christmas is
I think dinosaurs are awesome because they're dragons that were real.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know,
and you can find their bones.
Yeah,
anywhere. Like you could, if you finish digging that fucking hole,
there might be one.
There's probably a dinosaur in there.
Flower garden.
Will there be a dinosaur?
Only I can find out.
Only Sam knows because he makes the art, and that's what a dinosaur is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm some of the art. I'm remaking the enemies soon. Maybe one of them will take a lizard-like quality to it. But I think they're going to be kind of robotic.
Yeah.
Because they're deployed by the Bureau of Shipping. So what about a robot dinosaur? You know,
that could work.
That sounds
Mecha
cooler.
Godzilla.
The problem with robot dinosaurs is it's weird when they lick their eyelids. When they lick their eyes.
This is always really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you're like, why is it doing that? It's a robot.
Do you think T-Rexes licked their own eyeballs?
I bet they did. But they probably had lids.
Yeah. Well, wait, what? I don't know.
Did they have lids?
They must have had
Are they
lids.
closer to alligators?
Because chickens don't lick their own eyes. Right? And a T-Rex is closer to a chicken than it is
birds
to a
can
gecko.
blink.
That's probably true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, because dinosaurs are more like birds than they are like lizards.
Correct.
Even though they look a hell of a lot like a lizard.
Yeah. It's like a giant lizard bird.
But it's mostly
situation.
because every time they're depicted, you don't see all the feathers that were on them.
Right.
Because if you saw those, you'd be like, this is definitely just a bird
This
lizard.
is a huge chicken. I wonder if the way they ran was the same way a chicken does.
With the head bob,
They bob their head.
I wonder
Or
if
maybe they probably don't even run. They probably just strut around and just bob their
would
head.
that be more or less intimidating? So if you saw a velociraptor, right? Like a fleet of flock of velociraptors, right? and they're all walk with that fucking chicken walk.
I feel like it's more intimidating because it's so alien.
It's kind of like the Jets when they're doing the little snaps.
Yeah.
Getting ready.
If you saw, and I guess here's another question. Yeah, do dinosaurs come in flocks because they're all birds?
They are birds.
Yeah, they must.
Or a gaggle, perhaps.
A gaggle.
Yeah,
a gaggle of T-Rexes.
Coming in with their head bobs.
I wonder if you picked up a T-Rex, if its head would stay in the same spot, like a chicken,
like an owl or a chicken.
Yeah.
Probably if you picked up a T-Rex, you would stay in the same spot.
They're very heavy
because nobody's going anywhere.
What are those little guys? Little like what? Compsognathus? You know,
Little
little compy. Yeah, you can pick one of those up.
Their heads have to bob.
They would have to.
Look at that. It's like a swan that is, I guess, swans.
It's a murder swan.
Yeah.
It's a flightless murder swan.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what a compy is.
Yes, we might put some dinosaur-like thing in there. Who knows? Who knows what we'll do?
Only Sam could know, but he also doesn't.
I also just don't.
Because he only knows once he has made a thing.
I only know once I've gotten in there.
Yeah.
Importantly. And I haven't gotten in there yet.
You just got to get in there and then you'll know.
Sometime this week, I'll be getting in there. We'll
And then we may or may not have a dinosaur-like robot.
As far as timelines for this thing, we're aiming for sort of toward the end of the year. So that's what the goal is. We can't tell anybody what exactly is going to happen because we don't know.
We won't know until we get in there.
But I could guess.
Right.
Yeah, we won't know until we get
In there.
in the launch window. Yeah.
Till, we...
You just can't know. That's the thing.
You just can't know till you just get in there.
I think everything's kind of like a cave structure. You just can't know what's in there
Till you get in
till
there.
you get in there.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know?
You just got to get in there.
It's more like a jungle because once you get in there, now you can't actually move until you chop down all the shit in your way. And then you can move into some new spot. Who knows what's in there because you couldn't have known until you
can't
got
know.
over there.
You just got to get in there.
It's really thick foliage.
Yeah.
Maybe some flightless murder geese in there.
Yeah.
Probably
The problem is when you're getting in there, you can it's actually a series of getting in there. So, you get in there one
You
step
can
at a time.
never fully get in there.
Yeah. I mean, you just keep getting.
But you got to get in there.
Mm-hmm. You got to get getting.
Okay. Well,
I think we've hit peak. We're done. We're done
peak
now.
getting in there.
Yeah, let's
All
wrap
right.
it up.
Well, we'd like to thank our producer, Fat Bard, for making us sound good. Thanks to our community moderators who keep our Discord and forums running. If you'd like to get more involved in the Butterscotch community, you just got to get in there. Hop into our Discord server, which is over at discord.gg/bscotch. Come in and say hello.
If you've been worried about it because you're like, I'm scared of people or, just
I don't know how to interact. Just get in there.
You just got to get in there. You'll find out how hard it is. It's very hard.
But it's less hard after 15 minutes.
After 15 minutes, you're like, okay, I am accustomed to the temperature.
Actually, in fact, after you get in there, like getting into a pool, getting out is actually more uncomfortable.
That's true.
And then you're like, I got to get back in there.
Yeah.
Because this sucks out here now. Because little did you know, it always sucked out there. You just didn't know yet because you weren't know it yet because you hadn't gotten in there. Also, if you'd like to adorn your body, I feel like we need now a T-shirt that says
"Get in there."
You just got to get in there.
Yeah,
we do.
Maybe a mug. We really haven't moved enough mug inventory yet, though. Tell you what, folks, listeners, buy out all these mugs that we've got so that we can get some. So we can get some Dang Tank mugs and some you just got to get in there mugs,
or try to forcibly convince everybody you know to listen to this podcast so that they do it. Because really, the bigger problem here is not enough people listening to the podcast to buy all this merch that we bought, which was our bad. Probably.
Yeah, there's sort of there's a combination of factors.
Well, it's a chicken or an egg problem.
It's a murder goose
or an egg
problem.
Yeah.
Problem situation.
You gotta have the merch to sell it, but you need people to sell it too.
So that merch can be found at shop.bscotch.net. Get in there. You just got to get in there, get in that merch shop. You got to buy all the stuff so we can get some. You just got to get in there.
We did actually. We got in there with regard to international shipping lately.
We got in there and it's there now.
You can it
is very expensive.
It's extreme. So if you're an aristocrat living outside of the U.S., you just get yourself a mug.
Yeah. Actually, I think a mug is the most expensive thing you could buy.
It's like $9,000 for shipping. Well, but most of it is handling. We just take it. We just get that money.
Yeah.
And then there's like $8 for shipping.
Right.
So, also, if you'd like to send us something, we have a mailbox, so you can send that over to mailbox.bscotch.net. We check it periodically.
Well, you can't send it there. You'd have to go there to find the address.
No, you could just send it right there.
You could just put that on the fucking
letter. Put that on the letter, and the mailman's been,
there was that one package we didn't get. Maybe somebody addressed it to mailbox.bscotch.net.
And the mail carrier didn't then go there and look it up.
Yeah.
There's your problem right there. So here's the deal.
What if you wanted to ship something, but you didn't want to publicly show on the box where it was going? Because then you could put mailbox.bscotch.net on there. Right?
But then it's still publicly visible.
I mean, yeah,
where
but
it's
not
going.
like...
It's obfuscated.
Yes.
But it's obfuscated from everybody.
No, what you do is...
Okay.
What you do is you put a series of clues
on the box.
On the box. So, so the first clue is the URL, right? And then the mail carrier has to go there, discover the next clue.
And it's a geocaching thing.
It's a geocaching thing, but the trick is you are making them geocache in the general direction that you're trying to get the package. Eventually,
you just say, just drop it.
Just put it there. And then you got it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then nobody knows where it's going because it's a Manhattan Project sort of a situation. Each mail carrier only has one clue. That's how you do it.
But there is no reason why. You couldn't just go to the post office and say, hey, I want to send this here. I want you just to put a fucking number on this box. Where that number is a thing that you guys, because you have computers and shit. You can just actually just a barcode.
Actually, it is kind of weird that everything is automated through the mail system.
And yet we
still write stuff on the box.
Because then I could just change my address according to the barcode. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yes. I still get mail for the previous 2 people who lived.
Everybody does. Everybody's getting everybody's mail.
There's somebody who lived here 6 years ago, and I'm still getting their mail. That's not good.
No.
It's some good mail, though. I've read all of it. It's a felony just through and through. No, I have not. All right, so that's all we got for this week. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.